Hey everybody, this is Mr. Todd, and you are listening to Stories and Solutions. And I'd like to welcome Eddie, Luis, Lamont, and Vince. So, enjoy the show.
What
But
that's what we were talking about earlier, right? Is if you're assuming intent, right?
Mhm.
If you're saying, "Oh, it doesn't matter what he does because all he wants to do is become a dictator and be a fascist," then you're looking at if they're looking at it through that lens, no matter what he does, they're gonna turn around and say, "Well, yeah, because that helps him become more control." Like when he sent in the National Guard into D.C. Now, if you go to the neighborhoods and you talk to people in the neighborhoods, they're ecstatic that he brought some peace and tranquility, and there was no trash in the streets and no homeless living, no homeless encampments, and people weren't getting carjacked and people weren't getting killed. We went like 2 weeks without a death, and then one death, and then we've gone weeks without another one in DC. Oh, but he's a fascist. All he wants is take control. He
Real
just
quick,
cleaned up the
Luis,
city.
I was in DC, for my buddy's retirement. I was at Walter Reed. The discussion 2 weeks before that, or a week and a half before that, the discussion in the house, because I went with five buddies and their spouses, was do we really want to go down to DC to see our national treasures and deal with the potential of walking around and stepping over vagrants and having being susceptible to any crimes or whatever that were happening. This is a real conversation, and we're not talking about dudes and women who oftentimes are not carrying, are not packing from Texas and Tennessee and stuff like that. They're not scared, but it's like, do we want to go through the hassle, right? And talking to the locals there who work there and live in the city, like, yeah, we don't even go down there anymore, right? And that was me not even throwing myself into the DC culture. That's just me visiting for 3 days, wanting to go see some of the monuments and stuff like that, and then not being able to do it because people are like, oh, I don't really want to go through the hassle. You know what I mean? And then you
Hmm.
got him come in and get it cleaned up, and the who is upset about cleaning up
A,
crime
bu-
riddled
a bunch of people who don't live
cities?
there.
Right, right.
you know,
So
you you know what's crazy, man, is that
mm,
everything that every other president or every other politician cares about and what they bring up during election time, all this guy has done was do exactly what he said he was going to do.
Hmm.
mhm.
And
Whether you
I,
like it or not.
whether you like it or not, and what's so mind-boggling is that who cares how he says it? The shit is getting done. Like I believe that a lot of, especially celebrities and athletes, man, everybody is getting paid
Of course.
Hmm.
to lean a certain way that's against him. But at the same time, you'll come up and say, well, what are we gonna do about the crime in the inner cities? This man has given every leader in every state the opportunity to get their shit together. Excuse my French. Now, if you
I like your
don't,
French.
if you don't, and like let's use Chicago. How can you get on national TV and you say this the city of Chicago is safe and crime rate is down 36% when for the last 2 decades, 20 years, the crime has been off the hook.
Yeah.
The previous week, the next weekend after you say that shit, Labor Day, you get 54 people shot in a
Yeah. One
weekend,
weekend.
bro.
Yeah.
And
You know,
I'm
so
gonna tell you this, Lamont, real quick,
yeah, yeah.
because I was in Chicago during that whole trip. Like I stopped in Chicago, stayed there a
Uh,
week and a half, and then I went to DC.
yeah.
Same stuff being said by the people who are that live there, work there. Same stuff.
You
crime
know,
is out of control. Don't go over here. Don't do that. Stay your black ass over here next
yeah,
to the water. Don't go. You know what I mean?
yeah.
But go ahead. Sorry. Go ahead.
No, that's great. So what I just found out, I think it was last week. The reason why this guy doesn't want Trump to come in, because if the federal government has to come in, then that federal money of 800 and something $1 million they don't get.
Yeah.
So that's why he always said, "Do you want help to go towards your police? Do you want more police? I'll fund that for you." When that dude Johnson says no, just or give us the money. No, because all they're
No,
gonna do is take that $800
they're
million
gonna fuck
dollars
it up.
and go do some other shit
Yeah.
with it. The
Yeah.
same way Gavin Newsom has all of a sudden lost all this damn money, man. I swear to God, man, New
Yeah.
York, Chicago, and Los Angeles are the three states that are so uh, close to being a socialist states that it's ridiculous. Like it's ridiculous. We live in California, especially LA. Ed, you just came from the East Coast and the Midwest.
Hmm.
Their whole mentality is nothing like ours.
No.
Only because and I mean in terms of the hating of Trump and what's going on. We're so brainwashed that we really think people in California think that the world is like this.
Well, I'm gonna tell you something else because I went from LA, took the train to Chicago, spent some time in Chicago, right? And
Mm-hmm.
then I flew to Florida, Jacksonville. So you're talking about three different
Oh yeah.
vectors, right? So talking to people in Florida, going out in Florida, all that stuff. And then I went to DC like a couple weeks later. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I've seen all in the
Yeah.
last what 2 months,
Yeah.
2.5 months. So yeah,
Yeah.
it's you right on it. You're
You
right on
know,
it.
it's I just believe, man, at this point in time, it's this. Individuals have to just make a decision. And the decision really is you you look for and to develop a relationship with the Lord and God so you can see this stuff that's going on and then you make your judgment like that. You live your life according to that because what's going now is so way off.
Well,
And go ahead.
I'm
Go
sorry,
ahead.
Lamont. Let me give you some hope. Because what I'm seeing is I'm seeing a lot of people, normies is what we call them, right? Because I spend, you know, at least a couple hours a day on the internet. I like to get on X and argue with people. It's entertainment for me, and it sharpens my wit, right? And so I consume a lot of content. And like we were saying before, the people who went online thinking that they could mock the death of Charlie and that nothing but good was going to come their way because all they see is the little algorithm, right? They don't, and they're like this. But now they're losing, hundreds of them have lost their jobs because of the stuff they did. TPUSA, Turning Point,
Mm-hmm.
who has his organization,
Right.
had 1,200 chapters across the United States. In the last few days, they received over 30,000 inquiries for new chapters
Mm-hmm.
in different schools, from high
Mm-hmm.
schools and colleges. So they're gonna triple their size in the next few months because people are fed up. It woke them up. It woke up those people who were middle of the road and went, wait a minute. This is not right. There was a memorial for him in the Kennedy Center in DC, completely filled up,
Mm.
overflowing. You couldn't see the end of the line, and people
Mm-hmm.
were praising God and singing hymns for Charlie.
Right.
So I I I I hear you, but I think there's something wrong there though.
What is it?
Um well, there's two things. and again, I'm not on anybody's side. I don't know him. I can't judge him. I'm going by moral things. When I hear, like, if I take anybody, because this is what I'm hearing. If I hear, because I don't really watch TV or anything like that, but if it comes to me, that means it must be big because it came on my phone, like that kind of thing. Um, or if I hear somebody say something. So when it comes to him, you know, um, I understand and I sympathize with his family, all that. I don't think anybody should be executed for an opinion, all that. But I hear things like, he was so young, and that irritates me because I know many lives that have been lost that are younger, and it shouldn't make it any different. Like your life is a life. It doesn't matter. Like to me, it's the the attachment to a person, right? And then I hear these things where, as far as like, he's not a politician. Like when I hear like, okay, we were gonna have him in the rotunda, that's for like delegates, and I don't really know. I Googled like how many civilians got to do that. And to me, that's almost like making it too much, if that makes any sense. Like
Well,
it,
um, this I can say. I didn't know much about Kirk. I've seen his video here and there.
same.
I could have taken, his. I like what he was doing. This is going back to Andrew Breitbart before he died. He
Mm,
said you have to engage the young people
Mm-hmm.
because the other side is engaging the young people. Um, he's a young guy, 31. He started something. A lot of people who've spoken about him saw in him something much higher. They see him becoming a president one day or somebody big like
Mm-hmm.
that one day. And when they say he was saying to young is that there's so much potential for this person that a lot of these people have seen that he was taken too early, that he can do more greatness to at least a particular group of people or for a particular group of people. And those
I,
are the
I
people that are saying that.
I see.
So, like I said, I wasn't a fan. I liked that he was engaging young kids. But now, because of all this, it makes me look into more and I like him more. I see the value in what he was doing more. I'm not a religious person. I'm mostly on the conservative side, but not a religious conservative. I went to Catholic school. I grew up Catholic. I'm kind of done with all that, at least for now. My kids aren't religious. My wife's a Buddhist. Um, but I see value in what he's doing because I see value in religion, even though I'm not religious. Religion keeps you sane, keeps you grounded.
It gives you a
Yeah.
compass.
Yeah, I don't have
Yes.
any issue with that
Yeah.
side of him. I'm talking about
Yeah.
things where I hear people, okay, so for example, and I'm just
No, I get
using,
that. I
you
get
get what
that.
I'm saying? Like,
Some people die
yeah, like you
young.
can
Some
have
people
like a Trayvon Martin, and no one can tell me that kid was doing anything wrong, right?
we don't know.
But I'm just saying there
Right.
was enough footage that make you say like, really, this dude versus this kid? And I'm just saying in general, like
Mhm.
whatever it is, the Breonna Taylor. I'm saying in the sense of I don't see that happening, and I understand his value is the religious side. Like it's bringing in something. I get that. I just think it opens the door for, I don't even want to say, I think it is politicized, but I think it's
No doubt.
dangerously.
Well, can I offer? Let me offer something.
Hmm.
We have standards of when you talk about the rotunda and all that stuff. We have standards for a reason, right? Like Arlington Cemetery, Terry, and all that stuff, right? So I get what you're saying from that standpoint.
Yeah, he wasn't even a
I
politician.
I think of him. Uh, we're old enough to remember Roberto Clemente, right?
Mm-hmm.
most people will talk about Roberto Clemente as being like up there with Willie May, like one of the best ball players they've ever seen. He died in that crash, right? Gone too soon, right? But consensus is that he was going to be this, right?
Yeah.
And that's the only thing I can think of. I was trying to think of somebody else, but so I don't know if Roberto Clemente is in the Hall of Fame. I don't know whatever, but the thing is, he changed. Um, he made an impact so great that he's thought of in this different light. And so I think that's where everybody, and it's so fresh that that's where everybody's going. And of course, the president and he were close. There's an emotional tie.
Right.
People are gonna do
That's my problem.
other stuff. You know what I mean? Sometimes you have to step back and have someone else handle that kind of stuff, right? But there's also it was so graphic in front of a lot of people, right? And it's so fresh. He's a young man that tried to live his life, Christian values, wife, two young kids. It's just a very emotional. I think Lamont, you're talking about people who think with emotions and whatever. It's a very emotional thing, but we do have standards for a reason. So I get what you're saying on both sides, but I did want to offer that sometimes there's someone that comes through that makes such a great impact
But so did Martin
in
Luther
whatever
King.
arena. Right. But we celebrate Martin
They
Luther
didn't do that.
King. We celebrate Martin Luther King in
No,
the
he hated
post.
Martin Luther King, didn't he?
Who?
No, see,
No.
yeah, no,
No,
he didn't.
you
No,
know.
he didn't.
Who?
No.
Who?
No,
I'm
brother.
talking about the whole.
Charlie Kirk.
No, yeah, well, yeah, him too. But I'm saying like in that whole arena where, and again, like I said, I don't follow
Who?
him.
Who
What
hated
Who?
King though?
Who
Who are
hated
you
King
talking
though?
about?
That's what we're
Yeah.
trying about.
I think okay, so this is just me. You guys call me conspiracy guy or you want to. Martin Luther King shot in the same spot. JFK shot in the same spot, more or less, right? And all three people were liberating or opening the eyes or whatever it may be. And I think when it comes to like a Charlie Kirk thing, what everybody's saying is it's an emotional thing. It's a shock. It's a attack on Christians. To me, it's a message. Like this darker entity is trying to scare people, and that to me shows what the government will do to protect the fact that they can see. If you guys can sit there and say, "Oh, I don't know that much about him, but I can see what his potential." What do you think they knew?
I
And
don't think, yeah, I don't believe there's any uh conspiracy with that, man. I just think this guy had a message. He did a great job at
I'm talking about
initiating.
the killing, not his message. I'm talking about the
Right.
killing.
Well,
I don't think the killings have any. They're similar because they were done by professionals. Professional shooters go for the head
Except
because
that
that.
guy, they said he's not.
Yeah, you can't have a shot like that and not be experienced though.
That's
Come
what
on,
I
man.
said. That's what I said. But they
Right, but
keep
that
saying
does.
He
that's
might
him.
not
Yeah,
have been a certified sniper, but you got
yeah.
to be
But he.
experienced to get
Come
a
on,
shot
man.
like
That's
that.
just. Yeah, yeah.
What were you
Well, I
saying,
can,
Vince?
to a perspective on it, um, at 18, Turning Point USA was founded by Charlie when Charlie was 18 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And he grew it into an organization that has hundreds of thousands of members, not just followers, but members. And then he went from college to college to college and asked his strongest detractors to come to the mic and talk to him. Okay, he changed hundreds of thousands of children, of young people's lives, because he showed them what discourse could really mean. And so that makes him a
Target.
figure that I've heard people describe him as. What they did was they killed the older brother to a whole generation of kids in our college campuses.
that's
So
true. Yeah,
That's what I'm saying.
he went into all these colleges and injected different ideas. You call it facts or a different point of view, as Lamont was saying earlier about the teacher teaching history, teach nothing
Mhm.
good about Trump or no Trump pictures, and kind of teaching the kids to think a certain way. Well, Charlie Kirk went in and tried to undo some of that with some success, and
Mhm.
that's a threat.
Yeah,
That's a big
absolutely.
threat.
That's what
That
I'm
is a
saying.
big
Absolutely.
threat.
I said you guys will say I'm a conspiracy guy, but
No,
No,
I
no, but
I
that,
think it's a threat to the system.
but I
Yeah,
think,
there's something there. There are two
there's truth
sides.
to that.
yeah,
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
truth to that.
there's
There are two
some truth to
sides.
that. I
Good
mean,
and bad, evil, God versus devil, as
Yeah,
Luis mentioned.
that's all
We're
I
dealing
saw.
with two sides now.
but
There are two sides here.
Yeah,
but
and
I
if it's
mean,
50-50 on the political side,
It's
and now you
it's a struggle for
politicize this,
power,
that's
right?
your spiritual war, isn't it?
It's a struggle for power, a struggle for wealth, whatever you want to call it. There's a fight there, and this guy is kind of throwing a wrench onto the other side's wheel, and that's
Yeah.
one of the reasons why, whether it was done directly, purposely, or not, it was incited. It was baited that somebody took the bait, took the gun, and shot him. Professional or not, that happened. He was a wrench to their wheel.
Hmm.
Yeah.
when you see that anybody on the right is called a fascist, a Nazi, a homophobe, a transphobe, an Islamophobe. They the worst things you can say about a person gets anybody who's in any type of public life that that people listen to in any manner way is gonna get those names thrown at them. Now, and then you tell kids not, the worst ones that ever lived were Nazis. The worst one, the worst people were the fascists. The people with the Nazis were fascists, and they're the worst thing in the world, and that's the worst thing you can be. You cannot like a fascist, you cannot like a Nazi, and then you call somebody who is anything but that. You're gonna incite somebody who's not right in the head to act. And that's what they were counting on, I think. I mean, if you want to talk about conspiracy theories, I think that the media, a lot of the politicians, including some people who have been in very, very high positions in a country, they throw out those things in the hopes that somebody remember that line from it was it Henry VIII? Will somebody rid me of this meddlesome priest?
Hmm.
Right? So they're saying all this crazy stuff about anybody they don't agree with, hoping that some crazy nut will go do it so they don't have to do it themselves. You know?
Well, how about this? Let's take Trump for example. 20 years ago, who are you going to vote for? Bush, Gore. You can say Bush, you can say Gore. Some argument here and there, blah blah blah. Now you can't say you're a Trump supporter because then you'd be ridiculed,
Mm-hmm.
especially here in California. Even though about 40% of the people in California voted for Donald Trump,
Mm-hmm.
but you don't see a lot of the support out in public because then they get ridiculed.
We were talking about that. We were
That as well, but just that's a great point. But this is how much the media is controlled by the left, is that they will suppress that of what you just said and purposely show the opposite.
Yep.
And then make that opposite the truth. They'll feed it to us over and over again to the point, then damn it, we're just going to eat this, and this is what we're having for dinner tonight.
Like
That's
the
just what it is. Like
if you notice,
they're not gonna do anything else. That's purposely done.
so
Purposely done.
I told you guys I spend at least an hour on X every day, and the NBC, ABC, CBS, all the stories where people are losing their jobs for expressing their opinions on Charlie Kirk.
Yeah, but
Or
then
expressing
how do
their
you have
opinion on
free
Charlie
speech?
Kirk. And it's people aren't losing their jobs for expressing their opinion. They're losing their jobs for celebrating him being murdered.
Wait,
There's a
wait, wait.
difference. There's a difference.
People lose their jobs for expressing their unfavorable opinion of their bosses.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly. Yeah.
Right. I just think it doesn't make sense. It's
Mm-hmm.
what happened to free speech. You don't have to like what they're saying. You don't even have
No,
to like
but
Well,
what they're
again,
doing.
again, we
You
were
know,
talking.
yeah. I didn't mean to cut you guys off. Ed just brought it up earlier. He said there's standards. These companies have standards, whether we like it or not. It's their choice. It's in their handbook. Remember, hey, did you read the handbook? We don't allow this. So it doesn't matter what it is. So it just so happens that it's these two type of situations. And it's this situation where this guy was assassinated. It's not like it's like I could start some shit if I told somebody this is much more serious than George Floyd, especially somebody black, and they'll say, "Man, that's crazy. You're a sellout. You're this. You're that. You're that." George Floyd died, from cops or whatever. He was a druggie, whatever. If he resisted, whatever. This man right here was assassinated. It's a big difference. It's a big difference. So I just say, I say, people are getting fired for saying whatever, but there's standards. There's standards to everything, and you got to live with it. You got to abide by the rules. It's like if I get pulled over, whether I'm having a bad day and it's a white cop or not, I have to comply. There's no other reason for me not to do it. F the bad day, F that the cop is white. Comply. That's
And make
all
them
you
move
got to
if you're
do.
in the hands of the man.
Come
Make
on,
them
man.
move.
You
Yeah.
don't give them. My grandmother used to say, "Don't give somebody a reason to hate you or to dislike you." You know what I mean? It's not like you have to have a relationship with them, but like pay attention to what you're doing. Like it makes no sense for for people now to just do the things that they do and say what they say, because now we've seen it on both sides of the coin. We've seen it on both sides. So now a lot of the arguments now, when I look and I hear people, I'm like, man, you full of shit. You just trying to make up something to keep shit going on and on and on and on and on. I don't want to hear any more of your ideas. What are we going to do? What are some solutions? What can we put down right now that we can do? You know what I mean? If the people in Chicago were really caring about the people in Chicago, hey, President Trump, damn, I don't like this guy. But you know what? We do need help.
He's
I
offering
need help.
Yeah.
Take it.
Hey, come in and just help.
Yeah.
What can we do? And that's it, man.
But that's all. That's their pride. That's people's. They don't want to lose whatever control they have. I think.
I don't believe it's that anymore. I
No,
believe it's just they hate this
Money.
guy so much,
I think
and they're
that's
being
stupid.
They
paid.
don't want.
Because
They don't want to give him a win. They don't want to give him a win. They
I
don't want to say that
guess,
he's done
but
anything good.
okay. So when we had COVID, right? Who was in charge?
At the very
In
beginning,
the beginning, it was Trump,
It was
and then
Trump.
it was Biden after that.
Okay, so when that happened, and then they started giving out the loans for if you had a business, and they said we keep you afloat. Who did that?
the first
Biden.
round was Trump.
First round was
Okay.
Trump.
So here's why I say this, and this is I'm telling you guys, I agree with a lot of what you're saying, but I'm always looking at the other side of why people do things, and that's why I don't trust any of this stuff. When I hear people were willing to take loans to say, okay, well, they accept that from him in all 50 states,
Right.
Right.
right? So if you have a business and you're saying, man, crime is rampant, and but I won't take your help for that, it doesn't match to me. You see what I'm saying? So that's why I say I think it's something else. I just think people, it's how you sell it. If you tell someone, all right, I'm bringing in the National Guard to Chicago, your brain is thinking this is bad, and now they're gonna lock us down, and it's their way of the highway, and
Yeah, curfews and everything.
yeah.
Yeah.
So then they go, oh, that fucking Trump, and then that's where this goes. Versus if you're looking at it from what you guys are saying, I can agree with you, except I'm thinking also, well, wait a minute, they took the money from him the first time, So I don't think that's the issue.
Well,
I think
the
it's
thing
I
is
think
that
it's control.
it's not the people saying don't come. A lot of people are saying come.
You're saying the politicians.
I'm saying the politicians don't
But
want them to come.
okay, so Ed
Mhm.
and I
Yeah.
had this conversation the other night at Crave, and I said, and this is why I end. Okay, so this is called Stories and Solutions, and I know it's getting late too, but this is why I say there should be a solution, and here's my solution. We know politicians are crooked people, yet we follow whatever they're saying. I don't, but
I don't.
you know, but you get my point,
Yeah.
right? Like for them to be in power, you're empowering them.
Right.
And until we do like a Nepal thing, I'm saying, until we do
Well,
something,
that's not a bad idea.
but I'm telling you the truth. I mean, I know I sound a little radical at times, but I think when you get to the point where you're like, look, you're screwing up. I don't care who's in charge. You're all liars. You're all, you know what I mean? Like, then it's not going to change because you're giving away this power. And then if you really want change, you know, even when we talked about like the shot, it was like, people were like, yeah, but I'm gonna lose my pension or I'm gonna lose my job or whatever. You have a right to believe what you believe. You know, like if you get dinged and you go with it, then that's what you do. We have our beliefs. But then when the other side is looking, they go, well, you did what they said. Well, the majority did what they said. So if we keep following them, we really don't have any reason to complain because we're giving them exactly what it's ping pong. Here,
Well,
You
but
know the reason why we have to complain is because it's not one of us that's stepping up to the plate
I did.
and did that. No, so you might have done that, but if you're gonna remove one thing, the solution would be that you'd have to put somebody else in there,
All of
right?
us have to step
So
up.
if all of us, if neither one of us is going to step into that in those shoes, right? And you extrapolate that through all of society, then this is what we're with. This is what this is when we talk about the lesser of two evils or what have you, right? We do the best we can with who's willing to do it.
Not the lesser of.
Otherwise,
Get rid of both. And
but my point is, you can't just have anarchy.
no,
And
we're
There
already
has
gonna
to be
have that.
structure.
You're
There
already
has
gonna
to be
have that.
structure.
That's why I say
Okay.
the one thing I will say Charlie Kirk did is show that person that says, I'm gonna try it my way. And when you start getting people following you, that's why I mentioned earlier, Martin Luther King, people were following him. John Lennon, people were following him. Whoever it is, Bob Marley, people were following him. You don't have to be political. And
Hmm.
people say, nah, there's too much power. There's too much people following this person that if
Something needs to be done with them.
yes. So like
I don't know.
Charlie,
Lennon was definitely political.
well, yeah. But
Yeah.
I'm saying in the sense of like peace. I'm just saying in the sense of like, hey, we don't really want problems, you know? Like no one's gonna be perfect, like we said earlier. You
But
said this
there's a
earlier.
big there's a little bit of a difference though when I you know like you could make the argument that Lenin was really wanting the world to be socialist communist. And you look at that song, right? Imagine, right? Imagine there's no heaven. It's easy if you try. Imagine there's no religion. Imagine there's no this. Imagine there's no that. He was basically saying you have a secular society without a God. So if you know, a lot of these people are using feelings, you know, say, oh, I don't want anybody to die. I want everybody to be happy. You know, live in this Shangri-La that is impossible because of human nature. That's never going to happen. You know, so you're always going to have police. You're in a to live in a civil society with a high trust value.
In the
You have to
hierarchy, yeah.
enforce the rules. If you
Man, it says this in the scripture. Man cannot govern himself.
exactly,
Can't. It's chaos.
exactly.
So
Wait till-
you can't. I'm sorry, Luis. Go
yeah,
ahead.
no. So you can't expect because you know some people say, well, I wouldn't hurt anybody, but the truth is that the golden rule really it isn't he who has the gold makes the rules. Is he who's the strongest gets to take whatever goal he wants. And the only reason the United States can keep what we have is because we have the strongest military in the world. because there's people out there who would come here and take it from us if we say, oh, we're gonna put away all the guns and we're not gonna have any nukes anymore, and we're gonna take our army and just disband the army. In 2 seconds we would have somebody at our doorstep trying to take over, because that's the way human beings are. There's always going to be somebody who wants to take instead of work for it.
Is that how they are, or is that how they taught?
That's the way
They are.
it's been proven.
Hey, if you go back to the caveman days,
Yep.
I'm gonna take the woman that I want.
Mhm.
It's not taught. It's like I'm the strongest in the jungle. The lion, the caveman, I'm the strongest. I'm gonna grab her by her hair. I'm gonna take her over here, and I'm gonna have my way with her, and then I'm gonna go get the next one.
Yeah, but then you can't talk
And
about
if you're weak
civilization.
and you can't hunt, then you don't eat.
But then we can't talk about standards in civilization. You see,
Why
what I'm
not?
Well, I mean,
that's what we're
we're more
talking about.
civilized now,
Why not?
though.
Yeah.
It's
That's what we're
control,
talking about. That you have to have a civilized society with standards so that we can all live peacefully.
Standards
Correct.
and laws.
But
But you have
those were the standards back then for them.
Yeah, those were the
That's what
standards they had back.
right. So the standards just evolve as civilization evolves.
Yeah.
But okay, here.
You
Maybe
know
I
who
can-
made? But well, hold on one second. You know who made the standards and the laws?
Ooh.
God.
The weak.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
The ones who
The
scream
people who
loudest.
couldn't do with the might that they have, right? Which was be the majority, because the minority are the ones that,
They
the
suffer.
high school quarterback,
Yeah.
the biggest, baddest guy on the block.
And thank
Mhm.
God, and thank God
Majority-
that that many.
Right. And the majority are those the thinkers, the not as strong, whatever. So we're the ones that made, I mean, because I'm not the jock, whatever. We made all these laws and to try to even things out. Human psychology or the laws of the jungle would be like we wouldn't have shit.
Yeah.
Okay, so
People, they don't understand human history. There's never been a country like the United States of America. This is an experiment. This is brand new in the world. Every
yeah,
time,
250.
every society before this one, they think that too many, there's too many billionaires. It used to be that a family had all the wealth as far as the eye could see
yeah,
in one family, and everybody else ate dirt.
right.
Period. And you had no chance of rising above your station. And this is recent. We're talking about the 1700s. Why did people leave England to come to the United States? Because it was the only way that they could take a little
Taxation.
piece of land for themselves, because it was all taken already in England.
And then what did they do when they got here?
They
They
took from the
raped
people who were here.
villages. Yeah.
So then,
Yeah.
that's my point. So here's
But-
what I
no,
was
No,
trying
that's
to
no,
say.
well,
my
I'm saying-
point.
but what we're saying that-
That's my point.
but that's human condition. I mean, Genghis
That's
Khan.
greed.
Exactly. It's
And
a
I say
human-
that, but I say that for this reason: we elect politicians, or those who vote. If you know that the politician himself or herself know that they're doing something, and in their mind, I know it's a little bit cheating, but we got to get this so this can go through. Oh, I know that. And we were talking about this, Ed, about like, oh, if you get a DUI, you go, oh, well, look the other way, right? Because my campaign, and then 20 years down the line, someone pulls that up on you. Well, my point is if you know in politics that they're crooked people, and they know they're crooked people, then you already know the game is never going to go anywhere, because it's ping pong. It's just a matter of
Yeah,
who's
but
in control at the time. Now, the only way to get rid of that is to get rid of them. And the people themselves are electing whatever it is you're saying, because there is a majority, right? So that majority is going to say, everybody wants a place to live. Everybody wants a job. Everybody wants whatever it is. And I only say this because I look at somebody like Gaddafi. And yes, I know it's a smaller area, but if you can say, I'm putting the people first, and those people are going to work for me, but those people are making the laws, as you said, the weak are making the laws, people would be content, because most people's needs are not that many. It's the media It's the greed, it's the celebrity, and all that other stuff that makes people want more.
Yeah, I apologize for
Yeah,
saying the weak. I should have used a different term, but you know what I'm saying.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
gotcha.
Yeah, I
I
mean,
I don't I
not
don't
the warlords.
I
Yeah.
don't I don't know
You
if
don't
I
have to agree with me.
necessarily agree with what you're saying, Todd. I'm trying to put my head around it. Uh
I just think right is right, wrong is wrong.
right,
And we
but
know what they're all
we
both
don't.
sides are doing are wrong.
Right,
I
but
think we do.
here we don't. Here's the problem. Here's the problem is that first of all, we can't govern ourselves and we put too much uh trust and onus in the politicians to do these jobs. So but
Exactly.
right, but hold on. But the thing is this is that as an individual you have to know that, right? So if I'm voting for Trump, I'm not voting for him to run my house
No,
or to give me a job.
no.
I'm voting for him just because of his policy. He's the best man for the job.
Mm-hmm.
But what? Okay, so hold on. So my point is that most people that make these votes for politicians and all of these decisions and stuff, like what you're saying, they go into it thinking that these politicians are above what they really are. It's a job. It's a job. So if I vote for a guy, if I say, man, look, man, it's certain things that I'm not going to worry about because I'm not going to erase. But if he comes in, I'm only looking at his policies because I'm an American. I'm not thinking about race. I'm not thinking about gender. I'm just thinking about because I live here, I got a daughter or whatever, I got family, whatever. So those are the things that mean something to me.
Mm-hmm.
So morally, I'm not looking for him to affect my moral standard, my moral codes. And I think that's what a lot of people do now. And that's what we see now. Whatever, who can I use? Uh, Whatever Obama comes out and says it's the goal, it's the rule of law. Get the fuck out of here. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? Whatever Oprah says, it's like, oh shit, Oprah said it.
Yeah.
Okay.
See, I don't
It
agree.
will, Beyonce, whoever it is, Taylor Swift, whatever this woman does, oh my God, we gotta stop. This is what it is. Like, no, it's not. It's not. Play your position. I like you for what you do, and that's it.
Yeah.
You have nothing else. So when that's why when you hear people and they say things, Charlie Kirk, he's racist, he's conservative. Are you kidding me? So what? So it's like, so what? So he just because he likes Donald Trump, he's a Republican, he's racist. How do you know? I heard this guy say this today. Just because you have a conversation that's racial, it doesn't make it racist.
True.
That's right.
Everything somebody says that is against something that's democratic is racist. Think about it. Like it's so prevalent that it's just floating around. That's what I mean when I said earlier, like people are arrogant about their ignorance. Todd, you can't tell me that you're doing this podcast. This is not yours. This is your wife's. You can't tell me that because she told me she wanted to do it first. I've never met your wife.
Yeah. I would just laugh
You
at
know what
you.
I'm saying? So what I'm saying is that, but what I'm saying is my ignorance won't let me even listen to what you're saying.
Yeah, I get you.
You dig what I'm saying? And I'm
Yeah, no, I
arrogant
get you.
about it. I'm arrogant about like, no, you can't tell me that.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Stories and Solutions. I'm Mr. Todd. Have a good week.